Now that you have received your Lifepro X-FlexCycle Bike, it's time to put it together. I want you to turn to pages 6 through 18 in your user manual and follow along as I go through each step together so that you understand how to do this in detail. You're going to find that all of my parts are already numbered. However, in your box, your parts are not numbered. I just numbered mine to make it easier for you to follow along in your user manual. So step number 1, to attach the front and rear stabilizers and use the locking pin to position your X-FlexCycle Bike, you're going to find on page 10 of your user manual. For this step, you're going to grab your locking pin, and you're going to see right here on the front, there's a big hole on the main frame, and there's going to be another little hole right back here on this support. Make sure you take your locking pin and you're going to slide it through, not the big hole, but the little hole all the way through until the other side, until it clicks into position. Now from here, we're going to use parts 4 and 5. 4 is going to be your front stabilizer, 5 is going to be your rear stabilizer. Now what I want you to remember is both of these parts are essentially identical. In order to make this easier for yourself, I want you to remove the end points. Your 5 is going to go on the back, and your 4 is going to go on the front. We've made this more convenient for you in that the hardware is already affixed to your part, so you're going to need to remove your hardware before you attach it to the frame. And what I want you to do to make this simple is just remove your curved washer and your cap nut and leave the bolts inside, and I'm going to show you how to make this a little bit easier. Go ahead and grab your wrench. We're going to go around here to the front end. You're going to lift up, slide those bolts through the holes, and to get started, as you can see, the bike is a little wobbly. So if you have somebody that can help you, that's great. If you find that it's hard to assemble the front end first, you can always start with the back end, but we want to make sure that you're staying safe. You want to make sure as you are screwing on your cap nuts that you don't get them too tight to begin so that you can equalize out your stabilizer bar. And then from here, you're going to put the end points back on. So I don't know about you, but I'm not tool savvy. So you're going to have to work with your wrench to figure out which end is the right end for your cap nut here. And you're going to rotate clockwise. Think righty-tighty, lefty-loosey until you can't turn it any further. And now we're situated on the front. We're going to do the exact same thing on the back, and then you're ready to go. Step number 2 of the assembly is to secure your seat to its seat posts. You're going to find these directions on page 11, and you're going to need your wrench in order to accomplish this task. Part number 9 is your seat, and you're going to find all the hardware already comes affixed, so we're going to remove each one of these nuts and washers. And then your seat post, which is part number 10. So when we go to put the seat on, just sits like such. We're going to turn it over, and from here, we're going to put a washer on each one of those bolts that's already molded into the seat frame. And we're going to very lightly place the nuts back on. So you're going to tighten that down each step of the way until you get all 3 secure and ready to go. Step number 3 is to secure the backrest post to the seat post using your wrench. So here is your seat. This is your backrest post, labeled number 13 in your user manual, and you will need your wrench to do this step. We're going to take the hardware off here at the bottom. So go ahead and remove each one of those pieces. And you're going to see here on the stem of your bike seat that there are holes here at the very top. You're going to position those in alignment with that on the backrest post. Okay? From here, we're going to bring those bolts through. Go ahead and put your first washer on and your nut on in order to keep the holes in alignment, but we're not going to tighten those down just yet. Then we're going to put the second bolt near the top until you see it poke through at the bottom. Place your next washer on, your nut. Now, what's important here is on the back side where the seat rest comes together. Those bolts are in the shape of a square, so you want to make sure that those squares plug into that part just right before you start tightening down. Then from here, you're going to take your wrench, find which end works for you, and you're going to tighten up until you get everything tightened down to the post. Step number 4, located at page 12 of the assembly process, is to attach the backrest cushion, and you're going to use your hex key multi-tool in order to do that. So 13 is our post, and on our seat, I've got it labeled as 15 on your tool part list. So you're going to remove all of these bolts. Next step is to take your bolt and a spring washer included and go ahead and run that through together like that. You're going to take that and you're going to push it through the hole until it comes all the way through, and you're going to do that for each one of these 4 points. And once you get those into position, you want to line up your seat so that it falls in line with those. Now from here, go ahead and tighten up at least one of those to keep the seat rest in position. So now that we've got that started, now we can go back through and tighten down each one of these in a clockwise fashion until we have everything secure. And there is our seat. Step number 5, located on page 12 of your user manual, is to attach the rear handlebars using your hex key. You're going to take your handlebars, and as you can see, I have them numbered, number 18, and the handlebars, when they're in contact with the bike seat, are going to face in direction with your body. So what I want you to do, for starters, is to go ahead and remove the washer and the nut. Go ahead and leave the bolt inside the handlebars. And we're going to position this here to fall into this plate on the groove. And so we're going to slide that in like that. You can see from the side here, as those holes line up, go ahead and grab your first curved washer and your nut and just get that started. And from here, we're going to do the same on the other side, but as you can see, you might have to rotate it around in order to keep that other bolt in position, but because we have this one already locked in for now, we can reposition our hand as we need to. We're going to get this as tight as we can get it without rotating the screw here. So what we have to do is we have to take the hex part of our multi-tool and position it there in the top so that we have something to hold on to. We're going to turn the seat around, and you're going to take your wrench and you're going to start rotating it to the right or in a clockwise fashion. And at the same time, you're holding your other tool in your other hand, whichever hand is most comfortable for you. And as this gets tighter and tighter, the tools are going to work in opposite directions in order to lock that down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Assembly step number 6, located on page 13 of your user manual, is to secure the seat to the main bike frame. You're going to use your adjustment knob. Mine is numbered as number 20 on your parts list. Again, yours won't have a number, so you just want to make sure that you have the attachment knob or the adjustment knob that rotates, and it also has a pull feature. We're going to slide this through, and from here, you're going to go ahead and get your knob into position, and then as you get closer and closer to, you're going to be able to pull out on the knob more. That's how you're actually going to adjust your seat height. So in adjusting the seat height, we are going to turn counterclockwise or to the left. You're going to pull, and then from here, the seat will adjust, and then we rotate to the right or clockwise, and we lock the seat into position at whatever height you're ready to ride. Step number 7, located on page 13 of your user manual, is to attach the computer and the front handlebars. So I want you to take your 2 AAA batteries that come with, and you're going to turn your computer over to the back side. You're going to remove the cover and affix the batteries as the charges line up in the battery housing. Put the cover back on, and we're good to go. Now, we're going to go ahead and remove the hardware. So as you can see, this is in pretty firmly. We're gonna use our hex multi-tool in order to loosen these up enough that we can remove them with our hands to make it a little quicker. All right, so from here, we're gonna grab all of our parts and we're gonna come around here to the front of the bike. We're gonna slide, you're gonna see the 2 holes here on the frame of the computer. We're gonna slide those in here to the bike frame until those holes line up. And you're gonna see how the holes are just barely lining up. Go ahead and get things started, but again, you don't wanna tighten down until you have all of them in. There we go. Go ahead and grab your next piece to put in. And again, we're just making sure that we meet into the frame, but we're not tightening down just yet. We're gonna do that on the other side as well. So exactly the same ways I just showed you. There we go. And then the final, and now that we've got all of these tightened, now we're ready to attach the computer cables together. So we're gonna find that there's a male end and a female end. Don't worry about which end is right, because trust me, I get confused by this. We just have to make sure that they go together. And there we go. Step number 8, located on page 14 of your user manual, is to attach the pedals to the main bike frame. You're gonna find you're gonna have to have 2 wrenches to do this step. So here's your 2 wrenches, okay? So from here, what we wanna make sure that we do is that we are identifying our left pedal with our left crank arm. Now, these are already pre-threaded, so we're gonna remove the washer from the end. So we're going to take the left, and we're going to hold the pedal stable, and you can try and use your hand in order to rotate in. And if that doesn't seem to work for you, then try and go the other direction, because these can get a little confusing to keep track of. But as soon as you feel that it's stable, now you'll grab your wrench. And on this one, you're gonna find that the ends are, one is big and one is smaller. I'm gonna use end number 17, and you're gonna work in a counterclockwise position for the pedal in order to tighten it down. So left side is counterclockwise. We're gonna continue through, and on this one, now that I've got it tight, now you're gonna take your nut and you're gonna put it on the end. And again, we're gonna go a clockwise fashion. And then from here, you're gonna need both sets of tools for this part. So you're gonna hold one end of your wrench on the pedal itself, the other wrench on the bigger end, in 19, on the nut. And while you're moving in opposite directions, and we're good. All right, now we're gonna do the same thing on the right pedal. Okay, so next we have our bottle holder, which is gonna go right here on the main bike frame. Screws are already included, so if you just leave those screws in position, go ahead and get one screw partially attached, and you're going to get that started on both ends. But what is really cool about water bottle holders for most bikes is that you can position them kind of like a sliding position. So if you find that your bottle is too long to fit into the water bottle holder and you need more stability, you can actually slide your water bottle holder, if it's loose enough, to position it exactly where you want it. Okay, and we are good to go. Now that we have completed all the steps to assembly, it's time for a ride.